Steve is someone I spent probably the second most amount of time with. Before Derek Fisher was traded, I spent a lot of time with him and Steve. But now, I spend a great deal of time with Steve. I'm impressed with his work ethic. He has a tremendous work ethic, and he wants to, when he gets on the floor, he wants to get something out of his workout. So I think I've spent, lately, since the second half of the season as well, Steve and I have spent a lot of time on the ball handling. The most important thing that we really tried to work on is helping him keep his dribble during pick and roll action, and being aggressive out of pick and roll action. Trying to turn the corner, trying to make defense play him on us. I think there were a lot of times earlier in the season where he would come off pick and roll and he would just pick up his dribble, which would kind of put him in a bad position and also make it difficult for the team. So we've had some conversations. We've had several workouts where we just focus on that, helping him continue to keep his dribble alive. And that's a hard thing sometimes for guards, because they may feel like they're dribbling too much. But when you play in pick and roll, and sometimes the opening or the coverage is not there to where you think you have an opening to hit one of your teammates, it's really important as a point guard that you do keep your dribble to where we can keep the flow going with the offense. So we've done a lot of drills where we use side pick and roll. Where I'll come out and set screens for him, and he'll come off me and read, and then I'll set another screen. He'll come off and read, and we'll just continuous screening and continuous movement for him to just get in the rhythm of keeping his dribble alive.
Side on the baseline?
Side on the wing.
Or on the wing.
Right on the wing, between the free throw line and the break. Middle pick and rolls between.
So we're talking like here.
Yeah, free throw line extended out to the sideline.
Okay.
A lot of times we will do middle pick and rolls. Also, same things. A lot of times coming off the pick and roll, I really want him to come off the screen hard, looking for a shot.
Do you do much at corner?
Not too much. We early in the season we did do a lot more pick and roll at the corner, but now this part of the season, most of our stuff comes from the wing, top of the key, and the other side of the floor on the wing. So, we spend a lot of time on that. Spend a lot of time with his ball handling and his passing. I'll have him do several combination dribbles and also pass off with one hand, and as he passes with one hand, another ball is coming. So his hand speed, trying to get him with his hand speed, his court vision, trying to help him keep his head up and his chest up, working on his balance. So really just want him to be comfortable with the ball in his hands at all times.
How many sets of the pick and rolls?
So for the pick and rolls, we may do 6 makes on the side, 6 makes on the middle, 6 makes on the other side. Sometimes, we'll do 3 makes. It really depends on how he feels on that day.
Okay.
But the main thing is, no matter how long we're going, if we need to go shorter, I want him to maximize it by going hard, game speed, to where he continues to get that feel.
Your work ethic, you said that stands out. What stands out about it?
Just worker. Some guys like to work at 3/4 speed. Some guys like to work less than 3/4 speed. But I'm a firm believer, if you're going to work out and you want to improve your game, you have to do it at a rate which you play at. Because then you have 2 different type of things going on. You can't work out at 30% and get into the game and play at 100%. Your body's not used to it.
Yeah.
Steve does a great job of working out at game pace, which I think it's important for a lot of players to learn how to have that. It's really important. It's very underrated. A lot of guys, they want to be comfortable when they work out, which is fine for them. For me, I look at it as a waste of time. If you're going to work out and you want to work out shorter, whether it be 10 or 15 minutes, if you're on the floor, go at it. Get a sweat, get your work in. 10 minutes, okay, fine. I'm good. But it's better to do that than to be on the floor for an hour, going 3/4 speed. So Steve has really put that into his professional game.
Right.
Working at game speed no matter what we're doing.
It appeared, at least to me, there are stretches after his injury and maybe leading up to last week where he appeared tentative with both how he ran the offense and also taking a shot. What
Absolutely
accounts for that, do you think?
Well, I told Steve, he was worried about making sure he gets his teammates involved. He's as a point guard, he takes that responsibility to say, my job is to make sure the team is flowing. So, but Steve also has the ability to score the ball, and I think what it did from him when he didn't look to score, it took away from his aggressiveness, which hurt other facets of his game. I think he's one of those type of players. When he's aggressive, he can read and react better. When he's not aggressive, he's exactly what you said. He's tentative. He's on his heels. He's not sure what he's doing. I think what he's done is kind of gotten back to let me play aggressive. If I have opportunity to score, I'm going to look to score, and from there, I'll read and react to what the defense is doing. And I think that's been a big help for him.
Yeah, from my gathering with what Mike said and the teammates, he's been encouraged and has a green light to take shots when the season.
Absolutely. And it's exactly what I was just explaining about him, how he plays. It's better for him to play overly aggressive offensively than to be, let me run the team. And he can run the team and be aggressive. I just think that there are more opportunities in that second unit. They need him to be aggressive, because those are points. Steve is capable to score 10, 12 points a game every night. He has that ability. Because he's definitely improved his three-point shooting. I think he's up and down a little bit this year, but again, the second half of the season, I think he's gotten a little bit better. And you hit it. I think you had a key point. Speaking of his injury, the injuries kind of slowed him down because he was playing pretty well before he was injured. And sometimes, man, it takes a while. Guys get out of rhythm, they get out of the rotation a little bit. Your body kind of takes you a little bit of time to get back in shape. But we've spent a great deal of time on his shooting as well. Steve does a lot of we do a lot of 10-14 shooting, but we also do a lot of shooting where he has to shoot without missing consecutive shots. So we'll do 5 sets of 10 from all 5 spots on the floor, and you'll have to make 10 shots without making 2 in a row at any given time. We'll start over. So I think I try to get him to concentrate on next shot, next shot, next shot, next shot. Don't worry about your short-term memory. Don't worry about your misses. Let's go to the next shot, which will help him to continue to stay aggressive.
You sensed him turning the corner with that, or you think he still needs to keep pushing with that?
Oh, keep pushing.
Yeah.
No, he's turned the corner.
Right.
He's improved with it tremendously over the last few weeks, but man, he's always got to keep pushing and get himself into another area, especially going into the playoffs. If he's primed and ready to go by the time the playoffs start, then that'll be perfect timing.
Good stuff. So let's see, Troy Murphy.
T. Murph. Murph's one of those guys where he likes to shoot a lot. He's a pretty savvy vet. He has his routine of what he likes to do during the course of the season. So, I've had plenty of opportunities to shoot with Murphy, and really what we focus on is really we do a lot of 10-14 shooting. He likes to do that a lot because I think it makes him focus on making shots. He likes to be able to shoot a good percentage. So whenever we do get a chance to work out, which I might see Murph at least once a week, pretty consistently. We do our 10-14 shooting, and then he likes to do a lot of pick and pop stuff to continue helping. That's what he does. That's his game. He does some mid-range stuff, but most of his reps come from the three-point line. So the 10-14 shooting, we'll do 5 spots with that. Usually we'll do two sets of it. And then on his pick and pop, we'll do some sideline pick and rolls where he'll pop to the corner, make 3. We'll do a quick, what they call a quick screen, where I'll come off and he'll pop back to the high wing, make 3. We'll do high pick and rolls in the middle. Same thing around the floor where he'll usually make 3 in each spot.
Cool. So what have you liked with what he's done?
Murph is one of those guys where he knows what he does well, and he sticks to it. I never like to put players in a box in terms of, hey, you're this, and you're only going to be this. But Murph has done it for so long, and pointing where he is in his career, this is what he's comfortable with. So, you try to help him just continue to fine tune it and keep it at a high level.
And what is that, do you think?
Shooting.
Yeah.
But he's also a good passer as well. Murph knows the game. He's a really good rebounder. But his main thing is making sure he gets up his reps. I mean, he's what they call a stretch four, in the NBA. So he's a big that can really stretch the floor and he can shoot the ball, and that's what he gets paid to do. So that's what we spend all the time on.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It appears that it's come in stretches a little bit as far as his shot. What kind of accounts for that?
I think Murph is kind of like in that position where sometimes he plays, sometimes he doesn't, and sometimes, man, it's hard to stay focused. Now, I mean, these guys are professionals; that's their job. But I think the fluctuation of his minutes at times it may put him in a position where he's not always. I won't say he's not ready. I mean, he's always ready to play, but I just think that not being on the floor for an extended period of time sometimes is tough.
Yeah.
It's for the best shooters, it's tough. So I think that has a lot to do with it. And also too, sometimes Murph shoots really flat.
Yeah.
He has really, really flat on his shot. And I mean, he's got a nice shot. I think a lot of it is sometimes he shoots on his way down. Instead of shooting at the lift of his shot, he's reached his peak and then he's coming back down, which is allowing him to shoot lower and it's hitting the front of the rim. He's aware of it. He makes all the tries. He's trying to make the adjustments. Continuing to do what he needs to do to improve on that. But I think that's probably the biggest thing that most people see. Sometimes his first shot may be flat, but he's a rhythm player. Murph is a rhythm player. Most shooters are. The more reps you get, the more opportunities you do it, the percentages are going to work in his favor.
Right.
Always.
Right.
Because he's such a good shooter.
Do you like for him to release it higher?
Higher and
when he's in
and
the
at
air.
the peak of his shot. Okay. And he doesn't jump very high.
Right.
But even still, that little bit of once you reach that ceiling, if you come back down off of that ceiling, your chances, your percentages are going to go way down.
Mechanically, anything else, or rhythm?
Everything's fun. He's got great mechanics. You try to teach guys to be shot ready, and I think Murph is always shot ready in his own way. You try to get guys to sit low in the pocket and be ready to shoot. But Murph is he's built a career off being able to shoot from a vertical position. So again, it's one of those things with the ebb and flow of working with professional athletes. You can offer suggestions, and at this point in their career, you can't force them to do anything. You can offer suggestions and try to show them different ways that it'll be profitable for them. And I think that's the best way that you kind of get those guys to try to do things differently.
That hand you were mentioning about, just kind of the fluctuating in the rotations, is there anything that he can do to kind of deal with that hand he's dealt with?
Well, I think that's part of the job.
Yeah.
I mean, as a player, there's no guarantees. So that's, even though it's tough, but that's what they get. That's part of what they get paid for.
Right.
You're one of 15 guys on a roster. A lot of it may be based on matchups, maybe based on our opponent for that night. Coach may feel that we need to spread the floor more, so that means Murphy will be on the floor more. He may feel, whatever he's feeling that night. It just depends. I think a lot of it is dependent upon the matchup. But for Murph and any other player, it's just the ability to always stay focused and dialed into the game. It's always important for those guys to stay engaged. Just because you're sitting on the bench, you can't lose your focus, because at any moment your name can be called. You never want to get caught with your pants down.